Productivity in relation to time management. So how in the world can you be more productive if you don't know how to manage your time? Well, let me tell you, it's going to be really, really hard. So how in the world do you learn to even manage your time? Hello, I'm Carrie Lee, and I'm an ADHD productivity strategist for ADHD entrepreneurs in your business and in your household and life. I am a huge advocate for learning how to manage your time because I am ultimately trying to get you to be more productive. So being more productive, boosting productivity, the definition of productivity is simply doing something more efficiently than you could in the past. So here are a few tips on how to learn to manage your time. Number one, what is your goal with your time? Why do you want to be more productive? Why do you want to learn to manage your time? Like, what are you striving for in that? Answer those questions first, okay? What is your goal with your time? Now that we have an understanding of where we want to go, now we can go, well, where are we starting? So number two here is doing a time audit if you haven't. And even if you've done it recently, you need to do it again. I personally do a time audit every single month. And I do that with my group mentorship people, okay? So I do one every single month with accountability, and I learn something every single time I do it. And I've been doing this for years. Do a time audit. And what is a time audit? Because some people are like, what? Okay? So a time audit is simply keeping track of the tasks that you do during the day, how long you think they're going to take you, okay? How long they actually take you, meaning the start time, end time, then how far those are off between your estimate and the actual time it took you. What were some of the other things that potentially got in the way? Distractions, writing those things down, okay? And then any other notes, of course, you want to take down between different things, like how you're feeling and maybe like some solutions that you might have come across as you were doing this. So if you want to do a time audit, which I highly recommend, in your life, but I have a time audit tracker linked below, and you can go ahead and grab that completely free, all right? And track your time for one day. Okay, 24 hours. You need personal and business together. It's always great because we're online entrepreneurs, our home life and our business are intertwined like this. And so a lot of times people are like, oh, I want to be more productive in my business, but ultimately your home life, housework, kids, all that stuff, all those activities is actually what's hindering. It's taking all of your time. And so we need to learn how to rearrange it. But first we need a starting point, and that is a time audit. Some of the things I noticed when I was doing my time audit is I tend to say I'm going to work on something and then I end up working on something else. Another thing I realized is that building relationships with people actually takes a lot more time than I originally thought. Now I'm an introvert, so that might be part of it. So it literally takes a lot of energy out of me. When you create routines and schedules or even systems, sometimes it's really, really hard to stick to them. So you need someone to help you be able to do that. Another thing I realized is that I need to really rest when I need to. Not resting is actually sabotaging ourselves with our productivity, which I find when we get into certain moods is that we tend to go, but I need to be more productive, and we get really down on ourselves. And in reality, it's because we actually need to rest. Our body is saying, you need to rest. You don't need to go be doing all these other things. You need to rest. Okay, so make sure we're listening to our bodies. Another thing I realized is that there are certain days that I have a really hard time focusing. And when I have a hard time focusing, I'm not quite as productive. So if you also struggle with focus, I do have some hacks for focus. You can grab that below as well. And the last one that I'm going to share today is transitioning between tasks. And so I was really, really struggling to transition between the tasks. And so you have to essentially figure out putting tasks together or, not having quite as many things spread out all the time. But actually for me, having blocks, I hate time blocking, but kind of having a routine where during this time we're working, during this time we're focused on the house, during this time is with the kids, but it's not actually blocking out time for a specific task. It's just here. This is my rough schedule. So after you're done with your time audit, now you have compiled how far off you are on different things. So I always use this one as an example. The first time I did a time audit, I was like, okay, this is going to take me 30 minutes. And I start my timer. Get to work. I'm like, let's do this. Yeah. 3 hours went by. 3 hours went by before I realized that I was a little off. Okay, it took me 3 hours to complete that. Now, why did it take me 3 hours to complete that instead of 30 minutes? Well, one, I needed to learn how to actually do it. Okay, there's a lot of trial and error at that point. I had some distractions of different things popping up. So there were different reasons why I was really far off, but realistically, I didn't know how long that was actually going to take me. 30 minutes was a really bad approximation, and sometimes that is the reason that we don't manage our time well, is because we have no idea how long things actually take us, okay? So if I haven't convinced you to do a time audit, I don't know what will. All right, so here's your next step. Now that we know what's hindering us, so we know what our goals are, now that we know what's hindering us, to hitting our goals, right? Like where we're starting. Now we got to think, what can we do to improve that? We need to be solution focused. What can we do to improve our time? One way is to put into place systems, routines, maybe outsourcing some things, different things like that, depending on what you decided based off of your time audit and your goals. Sometimes that might even be hiring a mentor or a coach, getting a course, maybe cutting out activities. There are so many things that we can do to help boost our productivity. Ooh, another good one. It might be putting into place boundaries, learning how to say no. It could be simply giving yourself grace. Okay? It could be that you're overloading your schedule, which you might find out in your time audit. It could be that you're not surrounding yourself with the right motivation and people. It could be that the people are just dragging you down. There are so many things in our life that we're completely unaware of that are completely we're self-sabotaging ourselves, our productivity, okay, our time. So I want you to keep in mind what your goals are with your time, what you've decided that what you've learned from your time audit, what you've decided to do in terms of solution-focused answers here. Because when we become aware of a problem and then we just don't do anything about it, it still stays a problem, okay? Like we have to find the solution, whether that be yourself, you find a solution, or you start chatting with somebody else, all right? And so if you are one of those people that's like, I can do all these things, but I'm not a solution focused as much as I would love to, or I'm really, really gonna struggle with these things, even getting through a time audit would be really hard. Like I got to walk around all day and write down all these things. Yeah, okay, I get it. That would be a little overwhelming to me too. It was overwhelming to me. And that's why I created that group mentorship program, the Hyperfocus Treehouse. And we do it together every single month. So we cheer each other on, we motivate each other, we check in, and we make sure that we're good. Okay, so if that's something that sounds amazing to you, go ahead and check that out. The link is in the description below. And if you're like, well, I really don't know if that's where I need to go yet, like I'm not there yet, I would love to chat with you personally. I'm offering free productivity audits, okay? So we can assess your business and home life in about a 45-minute chat, and we will get things moving. You walk away with at least 3 tangible steps on how you can boost your productivity, okay? So if that sounds like something you would love to do, make sure you grab that link below, get on my calendar, and you go ahead and subscribe to this channel as I drop one new video every single week about productivity as an ADHD entrepreneur, whether that be for your business, your household, or your home life. So I'll talk to you next time.